Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my reaction to RWBY, Volume 9, Chapter 3. So last time we had what is very quickly becoming very beloved to me, and that is Weiss breaking down. You guys know Weiss is my favorite character, and I loved when I first reacted to it, Weiss's little breakdowns in the last episode. Her just absolutely losing her mind over everything going on and the fact that she can't logic it. Well, since I initially reacted to that, I came to understand what she was saying in the first of those breakdowns. And I'm going to be paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact wording, but it's like when she's like first trying to figure everything out and she asks them everything that happened, and it's like, you got your arm stolen by, and Yang's like a talking raccoon riding a purple wagon filled with trash. And Weiss is like, right, that. I see your point. I'm going over there. What she says in her first freak out, at least part of it, that I could make out, is along the lines of course, he has a little trash wagon. He probably has a little driver, too. Something along that lines. It's like, it's really fucking cute and hilarious and adorable. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. On top of Little just being an absolute gem, which, yeah, it's just like, I love them. I love them so much. I want them to remain with the team after we get back. I want them to come with. I don't think that's necessarily going to be possible, but I want it. Like, seriously, I really want them to come back with us. But yeah, we also had Penny's blade, which in the reaction I said looked like Penny's blade. See, I was thinking of her the original designs for her blades, but I forgot that they changed form after she became a maiden. And I think a lot of that is because of my feelings towards how Penny went out in the last season, which I still stand by. I still hate that. Just like actually hate it, not like just, oh, it makes me sad. No, I actually think it was really poorly done. And so I guess I kind of forgot what her upgraded blades looked like. So I just thought they kind of looked like them, you know. But yeah, it actually was just straight up one of the blades. But we also got Yang's arm back, and just a lot of shenanigans involving the Red King's guards and preparing for the birthday party. Now, they also went over the order that I assume we're going to go through everything in. Because it talks about, like, the order that Alex went through things in the story. We had the mice, the vines, Jinxie, the Red King, and beating him at his own game. And then the stuff after that, let me see if I can try to remember the order right. I think after the Red King is the Curious Cat. And then is the Knight, which is going to be Jean, clearly. And then the Tree. I think that's all there is, unless I'm forgetting something. So that's probably the order we're going to do things in, but there's probably going to be a little more to it. Also, the Jabberwocker was in there too, after the Vines, and before Jinxie. This is obviously not going to go exactly the same, because it wouldn't be 10 episodes. And I think one of the biggest things is going to be Neo. Neo is going to throw a wrench into things. With the Alice in Wonderland style thing, she's clearly the Mad Hatter. And we're going to have a Mad Tea Party, I presume, based on the opening. That's going to throw a wrench into things. And I don't know exactly how or when that's going to come into play, but I think that's what's going to help extend it. We also see Alex in the opening. But some people are questioning whether or not she's actually going to appear, or if her inclusion in the opening is just representative of the fact that our characters are following in her path, following her footsteps from the fairy tale. And honestly, I could see that, but the fact that they gave her such a distinctive, specific physical interpretation instead of just making her a shadowed figure or something akin to something you'd see in like volume 1 of the show. I think that means we're going to at least see her to some degree, even if we just see like a visual version of the story at some point. We are going to actually see her animated during the course of the season. If that means she actually comes into play at some point and becomes a character, then cool. I would be game for that. It's just gonna, I guess, depend on what they decide to do. I don't know exactly where this is gonna go. I can only guess based on, again, the path that they laid out last episode. And again, I doubt that it's going to go exactly according to plan, so I don't know. We'll just have to see. But I'm still excited because I really enjoyed last episode, and I've just been enjoying the season so far a lot. It's been great. Getting back into this series after falling out from it last season is a really good feeling. Because with my issues with how it ended for Penny last season and just how far that brought me down and how like much it hurt my interest in this series, I'm glad I was able to get back into it, partially through the reactions of Ghost Rebel, but other things as well. And I'm glad that I'm fully back into it now, to where it's like, yeah, I'm just excited again. I'm just really happy to see this series back. Because like I was really bad in my feelings towards this series for quite a bit after the last season ended a couple years back. Like, it really bothered me how they did Penny dirty there. It was such a terribly written sacrifice. It was the wrong time, the wrong way, really poorly handled in general. And it didn't feel meaningful. It didn't feel like it had a point. It felt like it was just done to, you know, do something big. It felt like false stakes. Not really stakes. Stakes the wrong word. You know what I mean, though. Like a forced pain to give the characters. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of it. But I don't know. We'll see how things go. We'll kind of go from there and hope for the best. So yeah. But we're just gonna get on with this episode because I haven't heard anything about this. I'm getting to this as soon as possible on Saturday, obviously. But I have seen that people are talking about it. Like, a lot. I have not seen what they're talking about. I have not seen any spoilers. But I've seen that they are talking about it. I've seen, like, I've seen on Twitter that it's been trending like crazy. I've been avoiding Twitter because of that. Because I saw how badly it was trending. That's exciting to me, but I guess we'll see why. Also, just sorry for the lighting. It's just the time of day. The sun is at that exact spot where it's like just messing with the visuals here. I apologize for that. I just already had everything out here, so I didn't want to bring everything into my room just to do this. It would have taken more time and effort, and I just didn't want to deal with that right now. just I didn't. But yeah, so If I need to change the lighting because the sun starts going down and it gets darker, I have my ring light, so I can adjust that at any point. But yeah. Either way, we're just going to get into this and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. Or to the episode, singular. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I was looking up the voices, and Michael Malconian, who's the Red Prince, I wouldn't know him from anything. Apparently, he's Caboose in Red vs. Blue, though, but, like, I wouldn't know that. But he's been in, like, nothing I would know him from. But Robbie Daymond, who is the Curious Cat, aka the Cheshire Cat, he's a pretty well-known VA. Here's some examples of what he's done. He was Tuxedo Mask in the Viz dub for Sailor Moon. He's Smokey Brown in Part 2 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He's Moomin Rider in One Punch Man. Crollo Lucifer in Hunter x Hunter. He's Reinhard van Austria in ReZero. Goro Akechi in Persona 5. Megumi Fushiguro, that's a big one, in Jujutsu Kaisen. That's a big one I would know him for, considering how much I love Jujutsu Kaisen. Flecked Turn in My Hero Academia. I'm not 100% who that is. And he's the English voice of Kozuki Odin in One Piece. That's a big deal. But beyond that, he is also multiple characters in OKKO Let's Be Heroes, including Raymond. He is Spider-Man in the 2017 Spider-Man series. He is Jesse from Book 2 of Infinity Train. And apparently he plays a character in Vox Machina, which I haven't seen, but that's a notable one. In terms of movies, he's in the CGI Godzilla trilogy, Planet of Monsters, City on the Edge of Battle, and Planet Eater. He's in a couple Digimon movies as Joe Kido. Apparently he plays the Flecked Turn character in the My Hero Academia movie World Heroes Mission as well. He's also in some video games. He voices Michelangelo in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan. Goro Akechi in Persona 5 again. He's Kane in League of Legends. Orbulon in WarioWare Gold. Trying to find stuff that I would know. He's a couple characters in Ghost of Tsushima. And that seems to be all I would know. But yeah, I definitely know who he is. Again, he's been at Youmacon a couple times. Never got a chance to meet him or get a picture with him, but I wouldn't mind doing so. But yeah, so this was a really interesting episode, and was just really fun. The Red Prince was a lot, but also we find out that he was not the Red King, and it was just like some kind of matter of mistaken title. There was a Red King, the prince's father, and apparently he's gone. and it's not entirely clear how or why. But we see that things are starting to diverge from the normal fairy tale, and Weiss kind of explains it as like, "Oh, we're in the sequel," and I'm just wondering what that means. Like that I think that kind of means that anything can happen. We see in the end that Neo seems to take the Jabberwocker prisoner. So that's interesting. That's definitely a big wrench in the plans already. Because that's obviously not normal. A lot of people were wondering prior to the season coming out and everything if Neo was possibly going to have a face turn this season. If, like, her being stuck on the island with everyone was going to cause her to, like, maybe end up turning into a good guy. It's kind of like how Emerald and Hazel did before. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, yes, Cinder betrayed her and everything, but I don't think she's going. I just don't see Neo becoming a good guy. I genuinely do not see it happening. What I more believe could happen is I think she's going to actually be either killed straight up, or is just going to end up being stuck in the Ever After while the others go back. Neo is not going to be able to escape. I don't think she's getting out of here, one way or the other. I might be wrong, though. I might be wrong. We'll have to see. But yeah, so we got like kind of a chess-like game in this. Obviously, quite a bit different than actual chess. And it seems like one of the rules was kind of broken very quickly, the entire moving one space rule. It's like one of the rules was each of your pawns can move one space per turn. And it's like, that was like broken almost immediately with them moving clearly more than one space. So it's like, yeah. What was the point of that? But I mean, I guess the rules being broken kind of fit with this, because if I remember right, in the original Alice in Wonderland as well, the Red Queen, the Queen of Hearts, did cheat at croquet. In the Disney version, at least, with the flamingos and everything, I believe the flamingos were, helping her cheat and, not obeying Alice as she was trying to use them. All of that jazz. But yeah, it's like, so here we see the pawns are kind of doing the same thing. Even the pawns on Ruby's side are disobeying her, and or not really disobeying her, but, taking the fall. They only start to, actually, like, fight for real once they get emboldened by Weiss, Yang, and Blake being badasses. Which I'm always all for. And in the end, the only reason they were able to kind of escape was because of the curious cat coming in and convincing the prince to let them go. However, Weiss, Blake, and Yang are still miniature. They're Little's size. As Little said, they're all Littles now. How are we going to fix that? How are we going to adjust for that? Because it clearly can't stay like that forever, but yeah. I don't know. I feel like Ruby got a little bit of her conviction back in this episode as well. Like, she was falling pretty hard before, but I think in this episode we saw like a little bit of that come back during the chess match. But if the opening is any sign, it's going to slow back down and creep to another big, heavy, depressive episode. It's not going to stay going into the positive, which sucks, but it also makes a lot of sense. Like, we kind of need Ruby to hit her absolute lowest in this season. she definitely has not yet. We need her to, like it was said during last episode. Jinxie gave her the deal, right? I want enough hope to fill this jar. And then he sees her reaction. He's like, you don't have enough. Not you don't have any hope. You don't have enough. She still has some hope. She's still hanging on to a thread. But we need her to lose it all. And I know that sounds harsh, but this is how this kind of character arc works. You need that character to reach rock bottom. Because once the character reaches the very bottom of the pit, there's nowhere to go but up. There's nowhere to go but up. And that's what we need. We need RWBY to get to that absolute low point. And it's going to hurt. It's going to be really fucking painful and sad. But we need her to get to that bottom point so she can work her way back up and be stronger than ever before, be more determined, more convicted, and more ready than ever before to take on Salem and her forces. And I don't know exactly what's going to lead into that. I don't know exactly how we're going to get to that point. But there's a lot that this episode leaves us to think about in regards to that. They lost Penny's blade. They lost the opportunity to get help from the Red King or even the Prince. And now they're with the Curious Cat, who is not really the most reliable fount of information. He's more interested in asking them questions, more interested in trying to figure out what's going on with them than he is in helping. And with Neo throwing a wrench into things as well, that's not the greatest sign. That's not exactly what they want. So, I have a feeling that we're going to start entering episodes here within the next, I would say by episode 5. It's going to get really dark, really depressing, really, really bad. I think by the midpoint is the point where you need to hit that. Now, not necessarily the exact rock bottom, but you need to really start getting into that mood, that negative mindset, again, for this entire character arc to work. Because that way you have enough time to build back up afterwards. You can't just have it at the end and then have like one small moment of rebuilding things. You have to have a few episodes to build back up. So we have to start getting into that harsh negativity like within the next couple episodes. Episode 6 at the absolute latest, I feel. That's my view on it, though. I like that this volume is giving us a lot to think about, and it's really building things up properly. I don't know when the next volume's going to end up coming. I do still hope that it ends up being longer than this one and everything. But we'll see. We'll see. I feel like this is exactly what I kind of thought it was going to be at this point. And I think this volume is a transitional one. It's specifically to have RWBY reach that low point, to have RWBY lose all hope, and to build her back up. And then whether Volume 10 is the last, or whether there's going to be like one or two more after that, what we're going to get next is going to be the big shit. Like, everything is going to be going balls to the wall, like, more than ever before. And that's what I want to see. That's how I want to see this go down. Not that there won't still be, like, nice character moments and stuff, but it's going to get intense. after this. This is a transition into kind of the final chapter of this series, I feel. And having a transitional volume that's shorter, that's more like focused and everything like this, less of a big thing happening and more of them just trying to get back, I think is a brilliant idea, honestly. So we'll see how this goes. I'm wondering when Jean is going to be reintroduced. Is he just not going to be reintroduced until he comes in as the knight? Because we know that's what's going to happen here. Is he just not going to be reintroduced until then? Because we've got Neo reintroduced now. She was shown briefly at the beginning of the first episode when they were falling, but as in the Ever After, she has not been brought back until now. In fact, she just fell, unless... Yeah, this was after, at least, the Jabberwocker got away from Team RWBY. So it's at least after that. And now Neo has the Jabberwocker. We don't know what her plans are going to be for it. But shit's going to definitely go down. You know one thing I think we will get this season, though? I think we're going to get Neo's backstory. I think that this season, whether Neo does actually die or not, I still don't think she's going to be redeemed. But even if she is, I think we're going to get her backstory. We got Cinder's backstory last volume. I think with how Neo is clearly going to be super important to this one, I think we're going to get her backstory. We're going to find out why she is in this life of crime, how she became acquainted with Roman. I think we're going to find out maybe even why she's mute. If there is a reason. There could be a number of reasons for that. There's a lot of reasons that could explain that. From trauma to, like, literally she has something wrong with, like, her vocal cords or something. There's a lot of reasons that can explain that. So I think that's what we're going to get this season. I know a lot of these afterthoughts have been like predictions and theories and stuff, and I don't normally do a lot of that. But this season has got me thinking. It's got the cogs turning in the brain. I know that hand motion usually means something else. just go with it here. The cogs are turning. Does two fingers make it better? Actually, it probably makes me look even crazier. But the cogs are turning, and it's really bringing that out in me, and that's unusual, because even things I watch on my own, I don't do that a lot with. I'm actually not a big theory person. I don't watch theory videos. I actually don't like watching theory videos because, one, if they end up being right, you're just kind of spoiled, and two, a lot of times, a lot of theory videos are just ridiculously stupid. And I don't like entertaining them. Even if they're by YouTubers and stuff I respect, it's just I don't like the theories. I think they're stupid. Because a lot of times they're reaching, let's be honest. They're grasping at straws to just try to find something. And a lot of times there's nothing that legitimately points to what the theories say. I've heard a lot of crackpot theories of One Piece, for example, so I don't listen to One Piece theories anymore. I don't care. I want to just experience it as it goes. But yeah, either way, I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode nonetheless, on the action, the new song that played during the chess scene, which was a really unique song. I'm definitely going to have to hear the full version of that when the soundtrack eventually comes out, because that was a really interesting song. I don't think I've heard anything quite like it before from RWBY. I'd love to hear your thoughts on just the good character stuff that it kind of built up in this, as well as the introductions of new characters and the vocal performances and stuff as well. Just tell me your thoughts on all of that and more down in the comments below. And per usual, thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.